Robert Saleh fired, and this is just pure New York Jets silliness once again. I'll explain. Before we get there, remember to subscribe to the channel. Make sure you are one with the channel. We go live on Sundays after NFL football is over, before Sunday Night Football. And so this is where you get notifications when we go live and other deep dives like this one, videos all throughout the week. Make sure you're subscribed. Click on this button below me. We appreciate it. It's interesting because actually this morning on my SiriusXM radio show, we went over the list of coaches in the NFL and asked, is Robert Saleh the single worst head coach in the league? If you were to draft all 32 coaches, would anybody be drafted after Saleh? And the answer is maybe not, but that doesn't mean this is the right decision, and here's why. You are making a decision, a reactionary one, based on what happened in London, right? That's why he gets fired this week, because whatever happened in London was a deal breaker. You felt like you could not go any farther with Saleh as the head coach. Well, what was the overwhelming reason that the Jets lost that football game? Psst. Rodgers. Who threw 3 interceptions? Who threw a pick 6? Who sailed one into Nowheresville in the middle of the game? And who threw an interception into tight coverage to end the game? That was your Hall of Fame quarterback under center. We have been led to believe there's 2 islands with the Jets. One is the defense. One is the offense. The defense is led by Saleh. The offense is led by Rodgers. And they don't have to have a good relationship as long as their units perform well. Not everybody throughout NFL history were best friends, coordinators, coaches, quarterback and coordinators, quarterback and coach. You can live with that. Well, all right, so let's go back to Sunday. If you took away the 7 points that Rodgers gave the Vikings, final score, Jets 17, Vikings 16. Now, I know that there's a butterfly effect here. If that doesn't happen, who knows how the Vikings play down the stretch, coach down the stretch, etc. But the point is, the Jets defense actually had a pretty decent day against Sam Darnold, a guy with right now MVP caliber stats, and a 4-0 Vikings team that became 5-0. The Jets found themselves down 17-0. The Jets defense basically was forced into a corner and told, you cannot give up another touchdown. And they didn't. They gave up only 2 fourth-quarter field goals. That was it the rest of the day after the Vikings jumped up 17-0. And so coming back from London, what was it about that performance where Saleh had to go? What was it about the Jets' performance against the Vikings where you said the coaching is the problem? The reason Saleh came back for 2024 primarily was the concept, the thesis. You handle the defense, Rodgers handles the offense, and you guys don't have to be BFFs. All right, if that's the case, and we're just looking at pure production, Robert Saleh's defense actually has performed pretty well. They're not pitching shutouts, but this is 2 weeks in a row where they played winning caliber defense. I mean, last week they lost 10-9 to Bo Nix at MetLife Stadium. You're going to blame the Jets defense for that loss? Before that, they held the Patriots, in inept attack themselves, to 3 points. The only day the Jets defense really got ripped apart was the opening Monday night against the San Francisco 49ers. I'm not a Saleh defender. My point is, he's being scapegoated here. Do I think this is a tight, buttoned-up, disciplined team? No. But do I think that's the biggest reason the Jets are 2-3? The answer is no. The answer is this continues to be a coddle number 8 type of franchise. A situation where Rodgers can do no wrong. A situation where if the offense is inept, if the offense does score 9 points, if the offense turns the football over and, say, said quarterback throws 3 interceptions, well, we certainly can't blame him. Hold Rodgers accountable? Then what are we left with? And so, Robert Saleh, you gotta go. What we also know is that Rodgers and Saleh have had a frosty relationship, to say the very least. We see on the sidelines Robert Saleh opening up his arms and Rodgers pushing him away. We see after the game, Robert Saleh talking about changing cadences and Rodgers openly questioning the acumen of his head coach. I'm not going to disagree that Saleh probably put his foot in his mouth at that point, questioning something that Rodgers has used as a weapon his entire career. In fact, on drawing defenses off sides and using that as a free play, he's thrown 18 touchdowns over the course of his career. So yeah, Saleh should not have questioned something that clearly is a competitive advantage for his quarterback. Rodgers also has responsibility here of throwing gasoline on this fire. At that point in time, Rodgers could have easily said, you know what? We've got to look at everything. We've got to get some things sewn up, buttoned up. We need to do everything in our power right now to be better, and we'll look at everything this week. But instead, there was an opportunity to take Robert Saleh and put him in front of the media and fans for them to throw rotten fruit at, and Rodgers took that opportunity. And so we're 5 weeks into the season, and the franchise quarterback absolutely has undermined his head coach. Is Robert Saleh one of the worst coaches, or now past tense, was he, in the NFL? Distinctly possible. But firing him right now accomplishes what? You came into the season with Rodgers in tandem believing that he was the right head coach, or you would have made a change in the offseason. The quarterback has been anything but publicly supportive of his head coach. And when you look back at some of his quotes, it rings even more hollow. After Cadence Gate, Rodgers said last week, quote, "We enjoy each other. We spend time almost every day in this office talking. We've got a great relationship." Are we led to believe the New York Jets come back from London after a 2-3 start, and Rodgers has such a great relationship with Robert Saleh that Woody Johnson or Joe Douglas goes to Rodgers and says, hey, we want to fire Saleh, and Rodgers would say, no, it's a mistake, we've got a great relationship, and they would barrel over him? The answer is absolutely not. Rodgers, if he didn't call for the code red, absolutely signed off on it. And now you've got an interim coach for the final 2/3 of this season. And does that fix anything in Jets land? And I get it. Time is always dwindling. You've got an aging quarterback. You've got a desperate franchise. You've got a short window to try to capitalize on this. But are the Jets 2-3 because of Robert Saleh? I think the problems go far deeper than that. And he just ends up being the guy that takes the blame for it. In terms of yards per game, the Jets are 6th worst. In terms of passing yards per game, the Jets rank 19th. In terms of an offensive line, the Jets are a disaster. I was told Robert Saleh has no control over the offense, and that the offense is run by a coordinator that is basically handpicked by the quarterback and run by said quarterback. So you tell me, why does Robert Saleh get saddled with all of the blame and finds himself out of a job? Bad decisions compounding other bad decisions. Such is the Jets' way. Hey, thanks for watching, everybody. Remember to subscribe to the channel. Click on this button right next to me. That way you'll get notifications when we go live on Sunday nights, right before Sunday Night Football, to break down the day of football, and when we do DA deep dives like this one, videos throughout the week. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'm DA, Damon Amendolara. We'll see you next time.